online influencer to actually get paid to be you. And probably beyond the scope of what I can do too much with this week, because this really is about online influence. But I believe, and I called this about 15 years ago, that the church is again wanting to go small and intimate, real discipleship, just like Jesus. I mean, Jesus preached to the tens of thousands, but he invested intimately in terms of intense discipleship, mentoring and multiplication. It was a really small group, and I really felt that even the church and also even as a business model that would reemerge, and it's exactly what's happened. It's the direction that I've gone, and I think I'll talk more about that tomorrow. What the Lord told me a few years ago about getting out of the middle of the road. But today, day 4, and I pray you've been blessed by the first 3 days. I really felt that God has been so faithful to give me seed to sow, and that he's been able to communicate through me just the essentials, just the starting points. And I'd love to I have a lot of higher level stuff, but just looking at the comments of those who've been participating, a lot of you are still at square one, and you still need clarity and a plan. And actually, that's a lot of what we do at the 7 Days to Freedom event. We may, anyway, I may say more about that in a minute, but you can go to 7daystofreedom.com. Those of you who followed my ministry, and especially my live streams, my granddog's here. He came to visit, so you'll see him in the background. He had stayed with me for months, and he's visiting just for a few days, and he gets to go to the groomer and get his nails done. Yeah, Grandma, I got you. I'm going to buy new stuff. I'm buying him a new bed, new toys, taking him to the groomer, and doing what grandmas do, spoiling him for a few days. So if you see him walking around in the background, he likes to make an appearance. So let me go ahead and pray. I was saying that a lot of people do seem to be still kind of at that stage where you haven't really gained clarity about that niche, that narrow. Yes, yeah, I want to be an online messenger. I want to have kingdom influence. I want to have impact. But all of you who want to make an income also you need to find that niche, own that niche. And that's where we began. We're talking about soaring, soar to the top. This Facebook is for God's soar team, okay? And my vision for this God's soar team is to have people who are financially independent. You don't have to be a gajillionaire, but you have passive income streams created online that enable you to work from anywhere and reach people everywhere, so that you are like God's kind of SEAL Team 6. You're highly trained, you've got high level weapons, and at a moment's notice, when COVID's over, you can hop on a plane and go anywhere in the world that you feel God is sending you. And I think now, more than ever, the urgency in this. I love being able to live that way. I love hearing about an opportunity, and I don't have to check with my boss. I don't have to consult with anything. I've got the freedom, that lifestyle freedom, that if I hear from someone like Hanan who says, hey, come to the West Bank, come to Palestine, come to Judea, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, you want to come and work in the Arab world, I can hop on a plane and be there and minister to these beautiful Arab Christians. When I come home from one trip and I've got a message from Hector Torres saying, wow, there's an incredible opportunity, and the government of Guatemala will pay for you to go and see this Christian ministry, because the government of Guatemala sees the value of what they're doing, and they want you as a kingdom influencer to spread the word about the great things that are going on in Guatemala. And I can say, yeah, that to me is what it's all about, to be part of God's SOAR team. I can work from anywhere, and I can reach people everywhere. And if that's what you want to do, you've come to the right place, because be careful. Yep, we're doing it. We're actually doing it. Woohoo! Imagine that. Actually doing what we're talking about. And that's where we're going today. We're talking about being a role model, okay? And really living what you're advocating, because everybody's in a fishbowl now. There's no secrets. There's no hiding. There's no pretending. If you're going to shine, you got to come out and you got to shine, and you've got to live out loud. That's what it takes. And I'm going to dive into that today. So Lord, we thank you. I thank you that you are moving in your people, and I'm seeing momentum, and that God is calling his people to be free. It's for freedom that Christ has set us free. And that's free in every area. And I think the freedom to go anywhere in the world that God calls you to serve is just so powerful. So Lord, I thank you that we are soaring on wings of eagles. We are soaring on wings of faith and favor. Amen. God, would you just pour out faith and favor, faith and favor. Just send the power of the Holy Spirit and put in a release of faith and favor, release that anointing of favor upon your people, because there's no substitute for the favor of God. I mean, you can labor, I said that, you can labor and labor and labor, but 1 hour of God's favor can do more than 1,000,000 hours of labor. And yes, we labor. Yes, we're diligent. We talked yesterday about always sowing seed, but when God swoops in with that favor, it's just like, he takes you to the top of the mountain, and he can do it instantly, and he can do it for any of you. I just want to make sure that I'm coming through loud and clear. I am, because people are typing faith and favor. So you're hearing me. Okay, good. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Don't touch anything, Donna. Don't touch anything. So day one, we talked about being secure in him and in the call of God upon your life. You know who you are. You know the message that God has given you. You're confident in it. You know the journey you're called to. You know that tribe of people. That's O, is own your niche. That was day 2, own your niche. Who is that tribe of people? What language are they speaking? How do you connect with them? How do you communicate with them? How do you live with them and touch their lives in a deep and life-changing way? And then day 3 was A, always be sowing. And you guys seem to love that. It was a great day about where do you get seed? Well, God gives seed to the sower. And when you put yourself out there and you are a gleaner, like, Lord, just give me something, give me something, give me something, and being faithful. Listen, God has got a lot to say. God's chatty. I mean, God has a lot to say. He's wanting to speak. He's wanting his voice to be heard. And he's just looking for vessels. He will tune into him and just be vessels that God can use online. This is what the Lord is saying. And people are hungry for that now more than ever. So we've got to always be sowing, researching whatever your topic is, researching your niche, owning it. And that's really powerful. And now we're on day 4, which is actually 3 R's. For the R, research, results, and role model. You've got to, and that's what we really talked about yesterday, is research. I'm going to say a little bit more in depth about how we get seed to sow today, and it's through research and then getting results and being a role model. And before you panic and say, role model, I haven't arrived. No, you don't have to, okay? Now I've already covered this. So, and that's me. I kind of teach ahead and then I do a little bit deeper. So anyway, so Lord, we're just so excited. I think I need to hammer this one more time. I don't want to camp on it all week, but I see your comments, and you're still, a lot of people still kind of struggling. Don't be a wandering generality. I want to help people grow in their faith and heal their heart. Whoa, too vague. It's vague. Specific. Experts soar to the top. Generalists generally don't. And occasionally there's that exception. There's that lifestyle guru, but you don't usually start as a lifestyle guru. Okay, you start with one specific thing that you can help a specific group of people do. Not just think differently, not just believe differently, not just feel differently. That's not enough. They need to be able to do something differently, and it needs to be a specific outcome. A lot of you still, just keep researching and keep studying until you can find something that you can actually help people do. Okay? And I want to say this, because the world is so complex today, it's almost impossible to develop the level of expertise required to soar to the top when you're dividing your energy between kind of different mountains of influence. If you guys saw, I have a free guide on that, on the different mountains of influence. You can get a copy at donnapartow.com/mountain. It's free. And it talks about the 7 mountains of influence and then different levels of influence. And I think you're going to find it really, really helpful because I give specific examples so you can kind of, stimulate your thinking about what that may look like, because I like to think of the mountains of influence as a range. In a mountain range, there's not just one tall mountain. There's different levels of mountains, and you may climb to the summit of one and then summit the next one that's even higher, and then finally summit that tallest one. And I think that that's really important about positioning and being willing to climb that lower mountain and then the next one and the next one and the next one. So I think that you'll really be blessed by that. But dividing your energy, dividing your focus, I think is a mistake. And even in terms of social media, like I really haven't dived in yet to Instagram. I really should, and it's on my list of things to do, but I'm focused on my email list because that's where revenue comes from. And I have built a large enough list that I can put most of my energy in that. But I would pick one, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, LinkedIn, wherever your tribe is gathering, even Amazon, if you want to sell, where do people buy? Nobody comes on to Facebook to buy anything. If they want to buy something, where do they go? They go to Amazon. So think about that and get my book, my training program, Authority. DonnaPartow.com/authority, and it talks about getting your books out on Amazon and why that's so critically important for anyone who wants to be an online influencer. When people go onto Amazon, they're going on to buy. They're expecting to click that button and just one click, buy now, buy now, buy now. And it's really powerful. And that teaching program, I have to say, is actually really, really excellent. And it would be a great next step after you finish the 7 days to online influence, a really great next step for you. Make sure you get that free guide on how to write your book in just a matter of days. So you're not like 3 years from now, yeah, I'm going to write a book. No, just get it done. Get it done. And then get it up on Kindle and in paperback. Okay. Oh, be the go-to person. And I was just thinking about this morning. We're going to talk, I think tomorrow, about the journey that people take, where they're starting and where they want to go, that result, that outcome that you're going to help them with. And I'm going to tell you something. If you can be the go-to person at a stopping point along the journey, it's powerful. That way, others who are leading people along that same journey will recommend you. I'll just give you an example, okay? So I've done a marathon and I've done a triathlon. And when you're doing that much cardio training, you really need stretching. And in terms of like foam rollers and lacrosse ball, it's just kind of special type of stretching and myofascial release, that type of thing. And so if you feel called to help people, you want to be part of that world, which people will pay for. People, they want to run a marathon, they want to compete in a triathlon. The first thing I did both times was hire a coach, and a lot of money, especially for the triathlon. But also along that journey, and there are people who've positioned themselves that they can train you for the triathlon, but along that journey, there were people who just specialized in how to stretch to recover from your injuries. That's just kind of one piece of it when you're training, is that you need to deal with how to recover after your workout. Does that make sense? I mean, that narrow. And there are people who've become very successful, and that's a full-time online income for them. So that anybody who is in that space of training for a marathon or a triathlon can say, hey, you're working with me, I'm your coach, but do me a favor, Paula, or if you're here, or Nancy, can you do me a favor and go into the Drop a Size chat and tell them that I'm live and that it's constantly popping up in my feed, so that if they could wait till for an hour, Nancy, if you could do that, it would really help because it's really distracting me. Okay, so I wanted to throw that out. If you could be just one step on the journey, it would position you with other influencers who are already operating in that space. You know, someone who wants to become an online influencer. One of the first things they need to do is write a book. So I could just position myself there. And then anyone who's raising up influencers online can say, hey, you know, if you really want to grow your tribe, if you really want to establish yourself as an expert on your topic and really draw people to yourself, one of the first things you need to do is write a book. Now, it's not what I do, but there's a woman over here, Donna Partow, and she's got a free book that will help you to write your book in just a matter of days. So, hey, why don't you go check Donna out? And then what you have is influencers referring you. So rather than you trying to find individual people that you can influence, you can, going back to your Dream 100 list, look at your Dream 100 list, see where they're leading people, think about some of the stops, and think about some of the things that they need along the way that maybe you could supply. And then connect with them and say, hey, you know, da 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 da. Think about that. That's really, really powerful. And that's the kind of micro thinking that you need to begin to engage in, because a lot of the thinking that I'm seeing from you guys is 34,000 feet, macro. Like, I'm going to heal people. It's too broad. I'll give you an example. Prayer. I have a curse-breaking prayer. Anyone who's on a journey to healing, who's got a lot of brokenness, they're operating on, if they've got a family they're probably operating under some type of family curses, or they're cursing themselves, they're down on themselves. Someone was talking about women being really down on themselves. That's too broad. How about breaking off word curses that you've spoken over yourself? How about breaking off family curses? That's specific, and that's something along that journey. Anyone who wants to be used by God in any way at all cannot have any unforgiveness in their life. If you want to be an online influencer, if you want to be a vessel God can use, and you have any unforgiveness anywhere in your life, the devil will eat you for lunch. You're not going to make it. One of the first things you need to do is to begin to proactively bless everyone who has hurt you, and all the haters who are going to come along and hurt you as you're out there. You need the special blessings prayer. That's just one thing that you need. Is this helping somebody? I'm trying to give examples that will really relate to where you are. I want people to pray more. Too vague. How about praying for protection for your family? I've got a prayer of protection. Specific. You need to pray more. No, you need to, there's riots in the streets. There's a hurricane coming. You need to pray protection. Specific. Does that help? I hope that helps. And I also put it this way. Where can you serve as reinforcement? Again, looking at those influencers, where can you reinforce what they're doing? And these are the people I see who become these are the people who become millionaires. They take one little niche. Well, you know what? People need a podcast. I'll just specialize in podcasting. If you want to take your message to the world, one thing you need to do is have a podcast. That's huge. So I'll just be the reinforcement. Anybody who wants to lead anyone to a mountain of significant influence, they got to tell them they got to have a podcast. They can send them my way, a podcast. Kind of fill in the gaps. Look for the gaps along that journey that influencers are already taking people on. I really hope that this helps somebody. Because if you will grab hold of this, this is life changing. So if you're passionate about, I'm using the fitness example, you're passionate about fitness, how can you be a reinforcement for all of the influential coaches who have already built a huge following, and then you can just tap into the following that already exists rather than trying to build your own from scratch? This is such powerful stuff here. There's two types of research. There's secondary and primary, and secondary is way more, it's easier to do and it's more powerful. How do you do secondary research? You just look over someone else's shoulder. You find someone who's got they're $1 million influencer or high six-figure influencer. They've got hundreds of thousands of followers, millions of followers. Just look over their shoulder. Notice what they're doing. Study them. Get their emails. If you want to make income, study their emails, because as I told you, that's where the income is. Did I say it clearly enough? Income comes from email. 80% of your income online will be generated through email. Just write it down. Take it to, you heard it here, people. Because as you step out, and people are going to try to sell you Facebook ads and YouTube ads and all this stuff. And yeah, that's great. I am telling you the facts. The money comes from email. Study their email. Notice the words they use. Notice where they move on social media. But why? Because they've got a huge team doing the research. All you have to do is look over their shoulder. If they suddenly go to Parler, I guess that's the new thing. Is it Parler? Parler. If they suddenly move to Parler, might want to pay attention to that. If they're suddenly doing Facebook Lives, you're like, oh, there must be a reason, because they've got staff. You don't have staff. You don't need staff. You can borrow their staff. Just see what they do. That's secondary research. Give it maybe 30 minutes a day of studying some people from your Dream 100 list. Notice what they're doing, because there's a reason for everything that they do. Again, I already mentioned yesterday. Go to their event, observe, see how they're doing it. It contains a wealth of information, especially the emails. You can also set up Google Alerts, and I have a link in your workbook on how to do that. And you can put in keywords, you can put in the names of key leaders, and Google will let you know what everything that they're doing in real time. And they're doing it because they're smart and they have teams doing primary research. And so your secondary research is just looking over their shoulder. And you can hire, and again, some of this is in your workbook. I've got actual links that you can go. You can hire people on YouTube, on Fiverr, to use a tool called Keyword Spy, and it'll tell you where their traffic is coming from, how much they're spending on advertising, where they are advertising, what keywords they're using. There's an amazing new thing on, I don't know how it has been the last couple of years. It's called Facebook Page Transparency. And you can go to the Facebook page of any major influencer, scroll down on the right, and you'll see Page Transparency, and click it. It will show you exactly what advertisements they're running, what images they're using, the verbiage they're using. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, just put some streamers on it. And I put a note, implementing what you see one leader doing will get you much further than gathering more information from dozens of different leaders. And this is, again, I see people get really overwhelmed. You're like bombarded, you're on all these email lists, which is fine. You can kind of take a look, but really intensely for the secondary research, pick one or two people who are doing exactly what you want to do, exactly the way you want to do it, and are at the top of the mountain, and really make a study of what they're doing, looking over their shoulder. And again, as I told you yesterday, what are you going to do? You're going to learn, implement, share, and repeat. Imitate, recreate, rebrand. Originality is overrated. Clever is the kiss of death. And then so that's secondary research. And that is where I would encourage you to put your focus, because then you don't need a budget. You just need the mind of Christ. and the counsel of the Holy Spirit to say, look what they're doing. There must be a reason. And why is that? And how can I make it better? How can I make it uniquely mine? And then you can conduct primary research. Now, of course, you're going to need a bit of a following. I mean, you can't do primary research until you have some people following you. But talk to your tribe. And one way to do this is to go into Facebook groups of the existing tribe leaders. And, that's kind of your secondary research. But as you're interrelating and connecting with people, be polite. Don't go in and raid their tribe. But if you're helpful and uplifting, people will naturally send you friend requests. And I had suggested in these Facebook groups, send maybe 10 requests a day and build your friends, not people you went to high school with. Your friends on Facebook, if you want to be an influencer, should be people who are already in the groups, the Facebook groups of the tribe members who are taking people to a similar destination. That's who you want to have as your friends. And you need about 5,000 of them, okay? And so once you get to about 5,000 Facebook friends and you're bringing them into your own Facebook group, we talked about that yesterday, then you can do some primary research. It's called a poll. Put up a poll. You've seen me do it. Just put up a poll in the Facebook group and ask people a question. The best question you can ever ask is, what's your number one struggle? What's your number one problem? What's your number one question about whatever your topic is? Nursing your baby. How to lose weight, or whatever it is. What's your number one question or frustration about your podcast? What's your number one question, frustration, concern about getting your first book written? And people will tell you, and that's your kind of primary research. One simple tool is Google Forms. I didn't hyperlink it, I meant to, but just Google Forms. You can go and create a form, send it out to people, and it, again, beyond the scope, it'll turn it into a spreadsheet for you. It'll turn it into charts, and you can kind of get a feel for those people who are now in your Facebook group, in your world, on your list, kind of where they are, where they're at, and get a good idea of what are their number one concerns around that issue and how can you help them. Again, I talked about the idea of posting intentionally with an idea to research. I want to find out where people are. What are they thinking? What are they struggling with? And ask them. The other thing you can do is check Twitter, what's trending. Just look at Twitter trending and see if you can tie in with that somehow. Okay. And just a critical tip here. If you have to choose where to focus your energy between primary or secondary research, trust me, it may sound primary. That sounds better. You're better off focusing on secondary, because those people are serving tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. So they've got better data sets than you do. So I would do both, but I would put more time on that secondary research. So we talked yesterday about always, gathering seed, and so that you have something to share. So that's that's like learning. And this is like researching more in terms of what's going on in the market. What's already being taught? What's already being shared? What are the trends? Being alert to that. So research. And then the second one is getting results. And I can remember a shift. I was actually walking on the beach, looking at the waves, and I kind of felt the Holy Spirit say, ride the microwave. Not like the microwave in your kitchen. Small. Ride the microwave. Don't try to be an expert on every aspect of any topic. And here's why that's so important: for credibility. You can't hide and shine. If you're going to step out and position yourself as an influencer, the enemy is going to try to discredit you. I just love you. And see how I did Jersey Girl, just brings it up straight. The enemy is going to try to discredit you. It's what he does. And in the online culture today, it's almost, I will just, you know what it is? It's a demonic frenzy. It's demonic. If somebody catches an influencer just 1 minute off brand, claiming to be a Christian, and they catch you, I mean, they could be broadcasting you live and you didn't even know it. You could be broadcasting yourself live and not even know it. And there's just this demonic feeding frenzy that develops, and the enemy wants to take you down. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And so the more things that you claim to be an expert on, the more you open the door for the enemy to come in and try to discredit you. This is so powerful. And I've been an influencer. I've been in the public eye for 40 years. So you may not sense the importance of what I'm telling you. But if you position yourself as an expert on every aspect of being a Christian woman, that just gives the enemy 5,000 different points of entry to discredit you. The more claims you make, the more doors you've got to guard. I hope somebody understands what I'm trying to say. But if you say, you know what, I can just help you, in other words, I'm going to train you to be a perfect Christian mom, and then all anybody has to do is catch you screaming at your kid at the pizza parlor, you're discredited. But if you say, I can help you get all the time, I can help you nurse your baby, I can help you get your baby to sleep through the night, that's what I'm an expert on. I'm getting a tiny bit ahead, but a good example on one of our kind of star students who's now really a graduate of the 7-Day Freedom. She's really starting to take off. She came twice, and the second time really got it. She's really starting to take off. And she was a homeschool mom. And I encouraged her because she's got some real world stuff that happened. I said, don't position yourself on how to be the ideal homeschool mom. The devil will just, he will just, can I say, crucify you? That's what they love to do online now. I said, just be an expert on how to teach your child to read in 100 easy lessons. Can you do that? Can you be an expert on that one micro topic? I may scream at my kids, but you know what? I can teach you how to help your kid read at the age of 4 in 100 easy lessons. That I'm an expert on, and that I will stand behind. Do you want to position yourself as the ideal, perfect Christian wife? It's too broad and too easy for a cynical world to just, ooh, how fun, let's just take her down. No, I can teach you how to make crock pot meals so that mealtime is less hectic. That I can do. And and this is what the Lord spoke to me, in that because when you're also, there's this thing inside of us, when we know I can't be credible, I'm a hypocrite, I'm not the perfect wife, then you want to pull back and hide, and you can't shine and hide at the same time. Don't make claims that the enemy will be able to discredit you on. Don't set yourself up like that. The smaller the claim, the harder it's going to be for anyone to discredit you. And the easier it's going to be for you to be confident in stepping out there. And the easier it is going to be to be heard. You know, I watched a woman become a multi-millionaire. You know, her only claim is, I'll help you tone your arms. That's it. She doesn't claim to be God's ideal woman. She doesn't claim to be anything except the woman who can help you tone your arms. I hope somebody's getting this. Because I'm reading your comments and they're just so broad. I'm going to show women how to heal. And then all the enemy has to do is show an area of your life where you're not healed. Discredited, hypocrite, done. Micro. For your own. Now, first of all, we talked previously about the only way you're going to be heard is to solve a super specific problem that are super specific people know they have and are proactively looking online for someone to help them solve. That's the only way you're going to get heard. A problem they know they have and will pay to solve. But now I'm talking about, I'm talking about being a role model. Make sure you pick something that you can be a role model of, that you can go out and shine with confidence and be unshakable about. You know what? I may not be perfect, but you know what I can do? I can help you write a book in a couple of weeks. That I can do. I can show you for sure how to write a book. That I can do. And no devil in hell can discredit me on that because I know I can do that. I can show you how to make your book. I can get anybody's book to #1 in their category on Amazon. All I have to do is send an email. That's it. Anybody. I could literally get anyone to #1 bestseller on Amazon in their category. No devil in hell can discredit me on that. It's narrow. I can't get you on the New York Times, but I can get you #1 on Amazon in your category. That I can do. And I can shine and I can proclaim that all day long and no one's going to intimidate me into backing down on that. This is so important. Micro. Someone's saying, well, why are we afraid for a niche? Because you believe the lie that broad is the road. And people always believe the lie that broad is the road. Narrow can't be good. I'm going to reach more people by being broad. I'm going to empower Christian women. No, you're not, because they're not going to listen to you. It's a lie. It's a great way for the enemy to keep you stuck. I'm going to help out all Christian women to heal. No, specific. Avoid positioning yourself as a lifestyle guru. I don't know if she'll fall or not. But there was a woman, and she's going through a really tough time right now. She's going through a very public divorce. And I think if she hadn't positioned herself as she was already an expert on so many different things, motivation, fitness, beauty, like she was expert. And then she decided to go ahead and I'm going to position myself as a marriage expert. And now she's going through a divorce. And now the enemy's like, now I got her. Whereas if she had just stuck with one thing, I can give you beauty tips. That I can do. I think that it would have been harder to take her down. I'm hoping. And again, this doesn't mean that you're perfect. Remember we said you don't have to wait till you've arrived, but you're on this journey. You're on this journey. This is kind of the other side of it. Don't claim. Don't make broad claims because nobody can live up to them. And even in the narrow road that you're traveling, it's okay to say, hey, my arms are so flabby, I can't stand it another day. And I got to get them toned. I'm not an expert, but I found some helpful videos and I'm doing it myself. And if you guys want to come do it with me, let's take 90 days and let's all tone our arms together. That's okay. I'm not contradicting what I just said in the first 3 days. It's still okay. You're role modeling what it is to be on that narrow road to toning your arms. You're on that narrow road of training for your first marathon. Even more narrow. That's that first marathon. You're on a narrow road to shave 30 minutes off your marathon. That's okay. It's okay to be on it. But I'm just telling you, the broader your claim, number one, no one's going to listen. No one's going to find you because no one goes on the internet and types in, I can't do keyword. You could do keyword research. I do cover that in the authority class. Find out what people are typing in. You'll be amazed. One that amazed me amazed me, stunned me. I was helping pastor who wanted to teach on spiritual warfare. Now, you would think, I would think, do you know how many people go online to look for help with spiritual warfare? Not many. And the one that really shocked me, do you know that no one is going, like 0 people go online and ask, is the devil attacking my family? No one. So it's good to do keyword research and find out, are people really asking the question that you want to answer? But I do cover that in the authority class. I'm not going to cover it this week. Okay. Break success down into its constituent parts. I already covered this. And choose just one micro module to master. Da, da, da. Okay. And I already covered this, but I'm going to reiterate it here. You know, when I talk about being a role model, you don't have to be a sage. You don't have to be sitting at the top of the mountaintop, you know, with a megaphone speaking down to the masses who will never be where you are. You could be a Sherpa. It's like, hey, let's climb this mountain together. I've done it before, and I live to tell about it. Let's all do it together. Or even a fellow struggler who says, you know, I've never climbed this mountain before, but it's something I've always wanted to do. Let's try to do it together, and we'll learn and grow together. And I'm an example. I want to climb Kilimanjaro. Am I crazy? I've never done it before. I'm not an expert on climbing Kilimanjaro. I'm not even a Sherpa. I've never done it before. So I'm not a sage. I'm not the world's foremost expert on it. I'm not even a Sherpa, someone who's done it at least once before and can kind of sort of knows the way. I'd just be a fellow struggler trying to figure out the best way to climb Kilimanjaro. Not every mountain, but that one. It's okay, like we said, to just be a chapter ahead. That's still a role model. You're role modeling someone who wakes up every day, studies for an hour, learns some things, and shares what you learn on that journey. And I did this a couple years ago. I always wanted to hike the Grand Canyon. And I had lived in Arizona for 23 years, and you know what, next year, then I moved to Florida. And it suddenly hit me, wait a minute, I never hiked the Grand Canyon. 23 years, never hiked it. So I said to a group of women, I want to hike the Grand Canyon. I don't want to do it myself. I'm not an expert on it. I've never done it before, but I'm really excited about this journey. And we've got a permit, and we can take, was it 8 women? I can only take, because you have to get in a lottery. It's not easy, but I managed to get a pass for 8 people. So I said, come with me and we'll train together. And so I did all the research and shared what I was learning on how to train and found guides who were horrible. But, and we did it together. That's perfectly valid. But I'm not an international guru on hiking. I'm just a woman who said, hey, I want to hike the Grand Canyon this year, and I can take 5 women with me on this journey. Come on, ladies, let's do it together. And we filled that. It was me and Rennie Ling. Those of you who know Rennie, we did it together. And we filled that like so quick with a group of ladies. And it was the accomplishment of a lifetime. And actually our guide also he leads tours to Kilimanjaro. And he said the hike we did down South Kaibab Trail and up Bright Angel was harder than Kilimanjaro. So I really think I do want to do Kilimanjaro. Pray about it. Okay. And sometimes it can be more powerful, more empowering. In fact, let's say it is, Donna, don't say it sometimes. It is far more energizing, empowering for you and everyone around you to just say, hey, this is the journey I'm on. Let's do it together than trying to claim to be someone you're not. Because they'll get you because it's spiritual. I mean, the enemy's got like a whole little contingent of demons Well, let's do the good news first. God, we already talked yesterday when we talked about sowing. God has an army of messenger angels who are looking for that one who's up with the dawn, who's up at 5 a.m. with the light on, studying to show herself approved. God's got angels who are empowering you, and you're like, I didn't even know this. Where did this come from? God just leading me and giving me revelation and insight. And then the enemy, this guy's little married band of demons. He's got a whole contingent, and their whole job is to disrupt and distract and discredit kingdom influencers online. And you will be far more empowered and less vulnerable when you don't make claims that you can't keep. The best claim is, I'm on this narrow little road. Who wants to come with me? Powerful. See, people who want to climb Mount Everest are not going to come with me to Kilimanjaro, right? People who want to go on a cruise to the Mediterranean aren't going to sign up to hike the Grand Canyon with me. It's narrow. It's a niche. Good brand polarizes. There were a lot of women like, you're going to hike the Grand Canyon in your 50s? You're going to do a triathlon in your 50s? Why? That's crazy. A good brand polarizes. But those are like, yeah, we had women in their 60s. They're like, yeah, I've always wanted to hike the Grand Canyon. It's been on my bucket list. I'm doing it. See, it's got to be something that's strong, a felt need. That's what we're going to a castle in Ireland, and some people are like, oh, I guess you're just all there in a bag of chips. You're going to a private castle in Ireland. Don't you care about the poor? Well, we just got back from Guatemala ministering to the poorest of the poor. People who live in the garbage dump. You know how many garbage dumps I've been to? I've been to the largest garbage dump in the world. 2 million people live in a massive dump outside of Cairo, and I've been there. But now I'm going to a private castle in Ireland, and I'm sure there are plenty, probably the overwhelming majority of people look at that and be like, that's not appropriate. You shouldn't do that. But then there's X number of people who are like, whoa, I've always wanted to feel like a princess. I've always wanted to be in a castle in Ireland, woo, and have a private chef cook for me, and think about being a writer and overlooking and it's a dream. But so it polarizes for those people, those few, that narrow, who really like, this is the chance of a lifetime to go be in a castle, to climb a mountain, to minister with Hector Torres, to go to see Israel. That's what I want to do. Narrow. Some people won't approve, but they won't ignore it. They're like, that girl's going to a castle. What do you think of that? At least they're talking. I already shared this example. And then this is a real example of one of the graduates of the 7 Days of Freedom. And God is pouring out favor on this girl. I can't even tell you. She's taken over a magazine, a homeschooling magazine. But I said, she was like, I'm not the perfect homeschooling mom. I'm like, okay. I'm not the perfect mom. Okay. I'm not even a perfect homeschooling mom. Okay. What are you? What can you do for sure? She said, I can teach a child to read. Okay. Started with that. And God just opening doors. Help. 7 Days to Freedom. Woo! Once in a lifetime. All the people getting the PPP. Come down. Okay. Okay. I think you guys have gotten it. As you're doing your research and thinking, where can I get specific results that will enable me to be a role model? I kind of skipped results because I've been hammering it all week. It's got to be a result. Will they know that they hiked the Grand Canyon? Yeah. Will they know whether or not they climbed Kilimanjaro? Yes. Will they know whether or not they spent a week in Ireland? Yeah. Will they know whether or not they wrote that book finally? Yeah. Will they know if they made it to #1 bestseller, stars and bars on Amazon? Yes. Specific result. And then ask yourself, what can I be a role model of? I hope that, I don't think this is just me. This is me. And let me know if it's you too. Because I think we're all the same. Which of those, looking at all your options, which of those can you authentically role model with no fear of exposure? You can't hide and shine at the same time. And you will subconsciously hide. You won't go all in. I watch people. They don't want to take that leap and risk soaring because there's some part of them that knows, ooh, I haven't got it all figured out yet. Yeah, narrow. Keep your claims specific and quantifiable. And I give some other examples. God can heal your deepest hurts, the ones you don't even know you have. Or I offer a 30-day Take Back My Life goal-setting boot camp for recently divorced Christian women in their 30s and 40s. Do you want me to do it again? Which is specific, quantifiable, and impossible to discredit? God can heal all your deepest hurts, the ones you don't even know you have. And then all the devil has to do is say, look, you're still hurting over there. What are you talking about? You need to go back to bed. You need to have a gallon of ice cream and go back to bed. Because you're a fraud. You think he doesn't do that? I've been at this for 40 years. That's his specialty. He wants to shut you up. God wants you to speak forth your truth. Now how about this one? I offer a 30-day Take Back My Life goal-setting boot camp for recently divorced Christian women in their 30s and 40s. Can you take women by the hand for 30 days and help them come up with a plan to take back their life? What's your plan? How are you going to take back your life? You're in the middle of this divorce. You've gone through a divorce. You're in your 30s. You're in your 40s. You're a Christian. I can spend 30 days with you and I can help you in that boot camp come up with a plan to take back your life. Can you do that or not? Will they know at the end of the 30 days whether or not they have a Take Back My Life plan? I don't know if they're going to take back their life. You're not promising them that they're going to take back their life. You're not even claiming that you've taken your own life back. All you're saying is, we can do this together. Let's take 30 days and we're going to have a boot camp. Take Back My Life goal setting boot camp. And together we're going to make a vision board. And at the end of the 30 days, if they've made a vision board and put it up on their wall and they have a set of goals and a plan for how they're going to move forward and get past this divorce, then you've done what you promised to do. Is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it a result? Either they got it or they didn't. Don't make claims that you can't deliver and quantify. Otherwise, the devil will just eat you for lunch. You won't get started. You'll hold yourself. I know the way this is. You'll hold yourself back because you're a woman of integrity. You're made in the image of God. You're a woman of truth in your inmost beings. In your inmost being, you're a woman of truth and integrity. And that's why you're not putting yourself out there, because the claims you're making are too broad and there's no way you can live up to them. And that's why you're holding back. And that's why you're hiding. And God says it's time to shine, to leave behind the shame. It's time to shine. How are you going to shine? When you have courage. When are you going to find courage? When you're like, yeah, you know what, devil? Shut up. Shut up. I don't care what you think of the condition of my bathroom, because I'm not claiming to have it all together. I'm just saying that I can spend 30 days with women who are going through a divorce and help them come up with a plan to go forward. That's all I'm claiming. So you're a liar. I don't care what you think. I don't care what anyone said. You're lying. I can deliver this. Okay. So your assignments, you guys loving this? This is good, really. Conduct secondary research by studying your Dream 100 list. Number 2, conduct some primary research by asking good questions in Facebook groups related to your tribe. Maybe it's time to start your own Facebook group. Are you ready? Maybe. Specific. List at least one specific, measurable result that you're committed to pursue. Decide today that you will be a role model of the pursuit of that result. Is this good? Helpful? Hallelujah.